It appears that we are heading towards one of the most chaotic presidential elections in American history. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back again with a new video, and today it is time that we talk about the 2024 presidential election. Because everyone, we may have the biggest shakeup of next year's election, as it appears that RFK Jr. will be leaving the Democratic Party and run for president next year as a third-party candidate. You heard that right. RFK, which many of us thought he was going to run as a Democrat this year, which he has. It appears he's bailing on the primary, and he's going to run next year as an independent candidate. This is freaking massive, and I don't care if you hate the guy, whatever. You have to admit, this is a massive shakeup to next year's election. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Guys, just for $1 a month, you could join Real American. This is the best way to support the daily content that we all know and love. So I hope and recommend you join the channel today. Alright, everybody. And again, this is a developing story, and theoretically it could be a nothing burger, but based on everything we know, there's a 99.9% chance he's going to run as an independent candidate next year. So, let's get into it. RFK Jr. teased an announcement on Friday that he said would create a quote-unquote sea change in American politics, amid speculation that a Democratic candidate may leave the party. Kennedy previously refused to rule out an independent run for president in August, which, again, RFK has gotten completely shafted by the Democrat establishment. You don't have to like him to admit that's bullshit what they're doing to him. I mean, they completely changed the schedule in favor of Biden. I mean, Iowa and New Hampshire have always been the first primaries or caucuses in the country since 1916, I think. And now they gotta change it? It's like they're doing that because Biden is historically weak in those two states. But they moved South Carolina first because that is Biden's strongest early state. It is a complete and total scam what they're doing to Kennedy. You may not like him, but that's BS. I mean, you could cancel the primaries, that's one thing, but to change the schedule, it's like, what? Ruin a tradition that's been a thing for 100-odd years? Not a good look. Kennedy said in a video on Friday that voters were frustrated with Congress and the leadership of both political parties. That's true. People hate both parties. They hate Congress. I mean, what's Congress's approval rating? Like 12%? It's not good. A lot of Americans who had previously given up any hope of real change would ever come through the American electoral process have begun to find a new hope in my candidacy, Kennedy said in a video entitled, quote, "Save the Date, Save the Country," declining to provide any specifics. I want to tell you now what I've come to understand after 6 months of campaigning. There is a path to victory. The hope we are feeling isn't some kind of trick in the mind. Kennedy's announcement is set for Monday, October 9th in Philadelphia. Now, again, why is he doing a big event in Philly if it isn't some massive event? Well, why? If this was just like some random, an event that nobody cares about, he would probably just do New Hampshire or something. But in Philly? In Pennsylvania? That's not an early primary state. That's a freaking battleground state for next year. And that's when you start hearing the reports that he's talking with the Libertarian Party. He is talking with other people about bailing on the Democrat Party. But Kennedy, the nephew and son of party stalwarts President John F. Kennedy and Attorney General Robert F. Kennedy, respectively has flirted with the idea of running independently before, refusing to close the door earlier this month on leaving his party's primary amid a bitter fight with the Democratic National Committee over its rules governing the nomination process, even after saying he would only run as a Democrat. Again, what the DNC is doing to Kennedy is a complete and total scam. This isn't like when Trump was getting 90% of the vote. Biden's getting 50, 60% in polling. Which it's still a lot, but it's like, he's a historically weak incumbent. There's no reason to be messing with the schedule that much. I mean, putting South Carolina first, it's like, well, what do you think they're trying to do? Prevent any momentum RFK could have theoretically gotten if it was Iowa and New Hampshire. He wouldn't have won them, but I think he would have done far better in those states than, say, South Carolina. Speaking during a town hall in North Charleston, South Carolina, in September, Kennedy said he was keeping all options open when asked by an attendee if he was prepared to run an independent campaign amid perceived hurdles erected by the DNC, which his campaign claims were built to foil his candidacy, which I agree with. The DNC is trying to prevent any kind of, insurgent candidate. They're trying to prevent what happened in 92 with Bush. When Pat Buchanan ran, he nearly took out Bush. So they're trying to prevent that from happening, even though Biden is historically weak. They're trying to make sure that I can't participate at all in the political process, and so I'm going to keep all my options open, Kennedy said of the DNC. A day later, he told another crowd in New Hampshire that, quote, he would have to make a call before October 15th if he decided to run independently. While Kennedy has long assumed the role of an outsider Democratic candidate up against Biden's better established and better funded incumbency, he has frequently brushed aside questions about any potential third-party bids. During a News Nation town hall in June, Kennedy called being a Democrat part of his identity. Which, yeah, your last name's Kennedy and you're part of that Kennedy family, you're probably a Democrat. So the fact that this is even happening, and people just seem to forget this is on top of Cornel West running as a Green Party candidate, and it sounds like this is not even No Labels. That's right, No Labels is running a candidate also. It sounds like RFK's not involved here. You look here, and No Labels, a bipartisan group committed to launching a third-party, quote-unquote, unity ticket, commented that they are not involved with RFK Jr.'s announcement. However, the group supports Kennedy's decision to potentially do the same. So you just start looking at it. There is a possibility of next year that we have 3 independent candidates that could get a serious chunk of the vote. I'm not talking about 1%, but No Labels, let's just say, gets 5%. Cornel West gets 3 or 4. RFK, 3 or 4%. That is a lot of votes going towards third-party candidates, and that's why this is huge. Because Cornel West is going to hurt Biden the most. No Labels, I think, is going to hurt Biden. They are going to appeal to the moderate Republicans and the moderate Democrats. But the question is this. What about RFK? RFK is the very oddball candidate because some people are saying he's going to hurt Democrats. Some people are going to say he's going to hurt Trump. Here's the thing with RFK. There are policies that he definitely is in tune with the Trump base. The war in Ukraine, a certain shot, all of it. And you have some polling data from, I believe, Morning Consult. And he is well-liked with Republican primary voters, but not so much with Democrat primary voters. Here's the problem, though, with this theory that RFK is going to hurt Trump or whatever. RFK is campaigning exclusively in Democrat areas. Austin, Philly, Madison. That's where he's doing all his events at. So it's like, wait a minute, why are you doing events only in some of the most Democrat parts of the country? And you start to look more at his policies. Yes, he is good on stuff like foreign policy, but you look at stuff like, guns, climate change. He's a Democrat on those issues. And that's what I think is the key difference. Yes, he may be liked with Republican primary voters, but do you think these voters are going to vote for RFK over Trump? Because most of these primary voters that support RFK, they love Trump. So I don't think they're going to magically flip to RFK. I don't think in large enough numbers to matter. Plus, Trump is going to attack RFK probably on stuff like the climate change stuff. So I think he is going to peel off some voters from the GOP. I'm not saying none. But you look at his policies, you look at the context of what he's doing, I think it would hurt Democrats. I really do think he would hurt Democrats slightly more. I think he's going to get some of the Bernie Sanders support. Well, if they go to Cornel West, but I'm talking about, like, I should say Bernie Sanders, because I think they're probably going to West more than anything. I'm talking about, other outsider Democrats. Ones that they hate Biden, but they're never going to vote for Trump, and they're like progressives. I could see them going to somebody like RFK. Or moderates that don't like either party, and they just like Kennedy. It's one of those things where you don't really know what base he does appeal to, but it will be seen, though, how much RFK hurts Democrats, because I don't think he hurts Trump at all. I mean, you think these voters that love Trump that also like Kennedy, you think they're magically going to flip to Kennedy? I don't think so. I think he's going to hurt Biden more than he would Trump. But it is to be seen what happens. This is so massive. When was the last time we had 3 independent candidates that got more than 2% of the vote? Or 3, or whatever. I'm not talking about 1%. I'm talking about a serious chunk of the vote. 2, 3, 4, 5% of the vote. I can't think of a time that's ever happened. I think 2016 you had Stein at like 1.5%, Gary Johnson like 3%. McMullen I think was at like 1%. I could be wrong, but this is seemingly more impactful than 2016. And all these candidates, they're going to be in every state on the ballot. So who knows what happens. But anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Thank you so much. Godspeed to all of you.